Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from the ACT Computer Studios in Cape Coral, Florida, it's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5? It's another Saturday, and we are here, and we already got people in the live stream excited to see us. And Gordon, I don't know if you can tell, but we've upgraded the live stream a little bit. Now we have a phone number with a fancy toolbar across the bottom. I was made that in the last minute. We got to work on the color scheme and all that, but I figure if I put the phone number down there, one, it takes up all the negative space down at the bottom of the screen because for some reason our Zoom still isn't nice and wide, but that's neither here nor there. But how are you doing, friend?
I am doing all right. Actually, it was taking me a second to find it
hot,
on my
fella.
feed. I am coming in hot.
Yeah, I'll turn you down on my side unless you want to turn your mic down, but you are screeching. Wow.
Screeching. Yo. I didn't touch a thing, but you know that it seems to be a problem in this industry, including radio, is you'll walk away, you'll come back another day, nothing's been touched, but everything's out of whack.
You know, the nice thing is that now that we're dead nuts, we're borderline almost a half year into this pandemic nonsense. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I
Yeah.
hate to say it. And I'm just talking about economic impact.
But the nice thing is now that everybody's doing their podcast, their news, and everything in this format, everybody else's podcasts have some of the same technical difficulties that we've been having for years. Our sound quality, by the way, I was talking to Junior over at the radio station a few weeks ago, and he gave us a huge compliment. He said the sound is spot on. The issues that we suffered through for so long because of
Needlessly so, it seems like.
well, I think the big transition one was that when we switched from Skype to Zoom.
Absolutely.
And
Skype.
now my internet service provider has upgraded my account from 50 megs down to like 220. So I'm averaging 190. So I'm sure that helps substantially as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to have the good download speeds for sure.
You and I were having an interesting conversation the other day, and I brought it up last night with Carrie. Now that, we spoke in the past that everybody knows that the quote-unquote mainstream media, they all have a particular view, whether it's left or right. Everybody in that panel seems to have a certain view and a certain outlook on life. And we've often talked about, well, part of the reason it seems, I would suspect, and you and I have kind of witnessed this firsthand by moving and living in different areas of the country, is your opinions and your views on life directly relate to where you live at in the country. My opinions and views were different when I lived in California than after I spent 19 years down here. And they were different growing up in Ohio than they were for me, I got to say the people we knew in Kentucky, because I was very young when I lived in Kentucky. I really didn't have any thoughts cemented yet to have. But the reason I say all that is when you have all the main news companies either located out of New York or LA, and both of those cities share a lot of the same viewpoints, obviously you're going to kind of get tunnel vision when it comes to views and opinions and policies, right?
Yeah, I think that happens to everybody.
Well, I guess,
unfortunately.
Well, I guess my hypothesis was that if you took CNN or Fox News or whatever and located them in downtown Iowa after about 3 or 4 years, their opinions or views might change a little bit. You at least get a little more, a wider variety because their daily lives would be in a different way, in a different environment, right?
To a certain extent, but I still think a lot of that comes back through what they were taught in college.
Yeah. Well,
and unfortunately, and it seems to be very one-sided these days.
Well, what I'm getting to is now that technology's allowed people to broadcast from home.
Okay.
And who knows, maybe it won't go back to where they have all 5 people sitting in a single studio in New York or downtown LA. Maybe they'll start having satellite offices around. And so if you're one of these news personnel and you realize, hey, I can broadcast from my home or from a satellite office, why live in New York and pay $8,000 a month in rent when I can go get me a kick-ass house in Indiana for $2,000 a month and live in a goddamn mansion?
Oh, exactly. I
mean, so now your personnel gets dispersed throughout the country, living in different states, different cities. They start to have different opinions based on where they live and, the activities in which they participate in. My hope would be that if that happens, we might actually start getting a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to change a whole lot because, well, the people who finance this shit. But maybe, just maybe, we'll start to see a little more wide variety in the opinions and thoughts of the people when they have like these 5-6 person panels on these news stations.
Yeah, you can actually have true diversity of the culture of a company and news and opinion and everything else. It could actually truly diverse things. I see where you're kind of going.
Well, because if everybody lived in the same city and they're all being affected by the same laws or the same violence or the same, high rent or just the same thing every day, all day, then you're all going to start to, not all across the board, but a lot of your opinions are going to have the same views and same thoughts. And for, let's just say, gun rights. Well, if you live in a city that has a high fucking murder rate, you live in Chicago and people are getting killed all the time, you might be like, we don't need guns at all. Guns are bad. Guns are bad, okay? But let's say you pick up and you move into the Midwest somewhere and you've lived there 3 or 4 years and you start hanging around some of the local folk and they invite you out to their farm to do some target practice and all that, and you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, maybe maybe it's not the guns, maybe it's the people doing it. And so then you would start getting a more wide variety, and not just guns, but just things in general. Mm. And so it would be interesting to see that if this thing continues, you'd get more spices in your soup.
Yeah, nobody likes a plain Jane soup with just some salt and pepper.
Exactly.
Oh, this shit again. It tastes like Campbell's. It is.
Yeah, you're very red today.
I don't know why I'm so red today. It's so weird.
Now, I know the Digital 410 Network, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
We sent you a green screen, and now the green screen's set up right behind you. I wonder if there's a possibility of the lighting has changed a little bit because now instead of having everything in a wide area, now you're partitioned off to a room, and it's causing the light to bounce around a little differently.
It could be refracting the light a little. I'm going to have to screw around and see if there's some filters on the camera that I can mess with, some settings for the next go around. But hey, at least I'm not disappearing into the background anymore, like the background monster's coming to get me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. But no, thanks, man. It's weird turning 46.
Yeah, how's that feel?
I jokingly said, first I was like, oh, I guess I'm now closer to 50 than I am 40. And then I stepped back a second. I said, well, I guess that was actually the day after I turned 45.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. Don't know what to think just with everything going on. I don't know. It's been a little cloudy, but, speaking of cloudy, actually it's hazy. Our air quality is for shit right now because of all the fires.
Oh yeah. Living in California or in the surrounding states during a wildfire is just, I don't know, it's so crazy. I remember when I lived in Long Beach and we had real bad wildfires. And at the time I had my sweet-ass 1995 Ford Escort LX. It was all black.
Juggalo sticker on the back?
Actually, it was twisted stickers on the side windows and then a hatchment on the back. But we were having bad fires. And I came out and it looked like someone had emptied out their barbecue grill in my car from just the ashes floating down. And your eyes would burn and your nose would burn. And so I'm sure with you living in Vegas and a lot of those winds blowing that way, I can imagine it's a little hazy and shitty out there right now.
Yeah, it's weird. You can't hardly see the mountains around the valley, and the sky's just kind of a dingy whitish color. It's just, and then it's just been hot. We're actually, I think today was the 8th day in a row that was over 110 degrees, and that's record heat for the month of August. So
yeah.
Allegedly, it may rain tonight. There's some chances getting some monsoonal flow in here, but not anything like you're going through currently. I guess you've gone from your dry season to a very, very wet one.
I just looking up and I noticed I don't see the audio peaking. I'm assuming because no one's saying in the live chat that hey, there's no audio, so I'm assuming our audio is coming through. I guess I turned up the volume in here. Yeah, it's coming up. Cool. It's just weird because on the TV in front of me, that allows me to look at Gordon and look through the camera, there's audio spikes, and I can usually see our audio levels going up and down. And I was just a little thrown off by it, but I think I know what the problem is. But oh well. Yeah, we dodged a bullet down here. Well, not really dodged a bullet. Actually,
not yet, right?
Well, it's the cone of uncertainty is the name that all the weather folk and the Weather Channel like to give it. But Thursday, we were right dead nuts in the middle of the fucking thing. To the point that Dad canceled. Dad actually had a trip to go up to Ohio to see one of his friends who's not doing very well, and luckily he was using a voucher from a trip he couldn't make previously because of the COVID stuff, so he didn't lose any money. But if it was going to come here, it was supposed to land on us on Monday, and that was when he was supposed to fly back. And so he didn't want to risk putting himself in a situation where his flight was going to be canceled and he have a bunch of unexpected,
Expenses.
Trying to find a motel room or, turning around, burning more gas, trying to find a place to stay with a relative and things like that. And so, not only that, but then he wouldn't be around, he wouldn't have time to prepare his home. Even though it was supposed to be a category 1, but you still got to, pick up your yard stuff, try to decide if you want to go strap your camper down, things like that. And so he just said, fuck it, it's 2020, we still got COVID going on. Now there's a potential for a hurricane coming our way, so he just decided to stay home. Mm-hmm. And but there's 2 hurricanes out in the Gulf. And before we went on, I just had one of these last-minute ideas. I was trying to pull an audible, but I couldn't get the guy. I have a reenacting friend who lives in Louisiana. And right now, the cones, plural of uncertainty, for Marco and I think Lima or Laura or some shit. Marco and Laura. They are looking to create possibly new history, something that hasn't happened since 1933. And so let's just cut over to our friends at the Weather Channel who loves this shit because their ratings go through the roof.
2 tropical storms in the Gulf at once seems almost fitting in the year 2020. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about a superstorm with these 2 systems joining forces. But let me be clear, that is one thing you don't need to worry about. But it is possible with Marco and Laura that we could see a 1-2 punch with one system moving onshore in the Gulf, followed not long after by another. But there are still so many factors in play, and there's still so much that is up in the air.
So right now, if the cones of uncertainty do not adjust or move, which chances are they will, I got to rewind this a little bit so I can see.
I've heard this referred to as spaghetti recently.
Well, they always call it spaghetti charts because when you're not actually looking at the cone, they show basically think of it when you're a kid and you're playing around on your dad's paint shop and you just draw lines all over the goddamn place. And that's what happens. There's so many different models. They use different colors and it's almost like paint shop. Well, what they do is they then take all those spaghetti lines and they widen it out and they have the cone of uncertainty. Right now, if these things follow the path of the believable models, Louisiana and Texas, Mississippi will be affected too, but right now the border of Louisiana and Texas will get hit twice. Marco will hit it first. Marco's going to go up and hang a hard leg left, go through the heel of Louisiana and then swing over and hit Texas. And then Laura's going to go up dogleg the other direction, and basically, as of right now, the entire state of Louisiana, the southwest left quadrant of Mississippi's there, and then the right east version of Texas. And so that border of where Louisiana and Texas meet, that area will get hit twice in 3 days. If there is a silver lining, these are only going to be Cat 1, Cat 2 at the most hurricanes, but that's still going to suck. I mean, you have one come cause some damage, loosen some shit up that in a normal day would suck, but not really be catastrophe. And then another one comes and, it's just kind of like a boxer. You go after the middle long enough.
1-2 punch, baby.
You go after the middle long enough and you're going to jack it up. What's going on, Matt? Matt Creed's joining in. Morgan Long's always here. What's up?
Real quick,
Morgan?
I was following up on this stuff yesterday, and I believe the other storm, I think you said Marco, was unnamed. It was called 14.
Yeah.
I think at the time. So, hey, it's 2020. Mm-hmm. The most messed up things that can happen will probably, and unfortunately, happen this year. So,
I was trying to get Timothy actually just hit me on Facebook right now saying, what's up? I was hoping to get him on the show because he lives in Louisiana, and I was wondering where at in the state he lives and what things are going on right there as far as hurricane prep. Because a lot, we're Floridians, a lot of people who are affected by hurricanes a lot, they just kind of blow it off. But the fact that they might get 2, I was kind of hoping to get somebody on here who lives in that area. And yeah, he said probably so. We're right in the area. So I was kind of hoping to get him on, but the idea came to me 10 minutes before we went live. So I didn't really, this is why we need a producer. Somebody else could be in the background trying to get him on here. But anyhow,
Anywho,
we wish him luck, and hopefully he'll stay safe
Absolutely.
and doesn't suffer property values. And that's always been the hardest part about living in a hurricane area. You almost have to take on and this is so fucking bad. This is so harsh. You almost have to take on,
Hi, my name is Tom McDonald. Welcome to the show. If you are easily offended, then you probably should go.
you have to almost take on the whole "it's better you than me" type of thing, which really sucks. But it comes down to that. Well, it's either their shit
Sucks.
gets fucked up or my shit gets fucked up.
sucks to be you.
And you always hear, "Oh, what about hurricane parties?" Hurricane parties stop when you become a property owner. If you're renting an apartment, renting a house in your 20s and 30s, and you can drive a piece of shit car you're not worried about, fine. Live it up, get some beer, have some friends, and party through the thing. And who cares if your apartment gets jacked up or the house you rent gets jacked up, as long as your personal belongings. Once you become a property owner, that shit for me goes out the window.
Oh yeah, so much. It's kind of crazy. Speaking of property, just looking around here, there are a lot of homes selling right now.
Oh yeah, the real
A
estate.
lot of people moving around.
It's interesting too, because you got the people who are selling because they've been affected by this whole thing, and they're unemployed and they can't make their mortgage payments and all that. Even though there are protections being put into place to try to prevent those people from getting kicked out, but then there's the people who are, because of the interest rates so low, they're the people who are trying to take advantage of that and buy property while the getting's good.
I think a lot of people are in my neighborhood are selling. Oh, dear
Bless
God,
you.
sorry. Ow, that hurt my head. Are selling because they've made $75,000 in their house in the last 5 years, and they're probably off to maybe a less expensive state back home, where they can take that money and get more out of it.
Yep, absolutely.
So I saw something crazy today,
Okay.
and at first I thought this lady was just an idiot, and then I thought maybe she's just doing the best she can.
Well, that's our first go-to. Oh, you fucking asshole.
So not quite seen this variant of a mask before. I'm beginning to think it was any port in storming what was laying around in her car. I go into Cafe Rio. It's a wonderful Mexican restaurant based out of originally St. George, Utah. So I'm going to give them a little quick plug. And I walk in, and there's this. Everybody's in line, 6 feet apart, mask are on, and I look over, and this older lady's smiling at me, and I think, wait a second, why can't I see her fucking face? And she's got 2 kids with masks on. But the worst part is, and you're going to have to kind of look up, she had basically what looked like old gym shorts, and every time she talked, she'd put it up over her mouth. Like this, over her mouth.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thinking, lady, you're doing more harm than good, because now you're breathing all over your hand. That hand's now going to touch whatever way and I'm the guy behind him, paying and everything else. And it's just like, oh my God, I really think that she probably would have had a mask, but forgot it and found something in her car.
Yeah.
Originally I was like, okay, I'm checking out her tattoos. Is there any overly religious stuff going on here? Trying to, profile her a little. And the more I put more thought than I should have into it, I just realized that she's probably just doing the best she could and that. But yeah, it was a little strange. I would definitely fall into my stupidest shit of the week I've seen.
Well, I had that situation on Friday because across the street from my shop is a Circle K. That's the Circle K with no gas pumps. That's what makes it a convenience store, not a gas station. But I just parked, and I had to go there and get something to drink and a few things for the office, and I left my mask in my truck. And so I get to the door, please have a mask on. I was like, I'm not. I went, whoop. I straight up just put my shirt over my face, walked in there, got the things I needed, got out. Because I wasn't going to walk all the way back, cross 2 lanes of traffic, go back to my truck, unlock it, get my mask, walk all the way back, get the shit, walk all the way back. There's no one in there anyhow. So I just put my shirt over my face and got it done, and then walked the hell out of there.
Note to self, keep a mask in pocket.
Yeah, but then it gets all funky, especially down here in Florida. It's all hot and sweaty. I don't want to put
Oh,
sweaty
yeah,
ball
you got
mask.
something called humidity.
Yeah, I don't want to put a ball sweat mask over my face. That you think waterboarding's bad? Try with ball sweat in your mask. I'm gonna kill. So as we said earlier, Comcast has upgraded my internet, which is great, but there's been this weird anomaly that's been going on. Well, first off, with the weather being as cool as it is, I finally took advantage. The left side of my house is where the podcast studio is, and that's where my cable modem is. And then right across the hall is where Nuggets Xbox is, and on the other side of that wall is the living area where Carrie's Xbox is. And in the past, it was an easy run. I just ran a wire from here over to there, and I hardwired their Xboxes so they can get better internet. Well, I have cathedral ceilings, and my bedroom's on the other side of the whole living area with the cathedral ceilings, and that's where my Xbox is. And before they upgraded, I was getting, my internet was good enough that I could play, but when it came to like downloading Call of Duty updates, it would take like 4 fucking hours. And so the weather was cool enough yesterday that I got up in the attic, shimmied down, and it's not even a boardwalk, it's just 2x4s that are nailed that run along the AC unit. So I basically shimmied all the way over here. Long story short, ran Cat 6 to the other side of my house, and now my bedroom is hardwired. But for like the last 3 weeks, I cannot access d-410.com from my house. At Computers from my house, What's the Scuttlebutt, or What's in Your Head podcast. All those podcasts are hosted by, are all on one server, hosted by the same hosting company. Now, in the past, I've had issues where if my Outlook's running too long or hits the server too many times, they'll block my IP because they think someone's trying to hack into it. So I call them up, give them my IP address, and problem goes away. Well, I already contacted them. They said, we don't have your IP, nothing's blacklisted. There's not a problem. And so what you would do in that situation is you do what's called a trace route. You go to your command line, type in trace route and the domain name, and it would show you the hops that it takes to get through the internet from your house to the server. It would show you going through Bonita Springs to Indiana to Texas to California. But when I was trace routing, it would stop at my modem. It wouldn't get outside my modem. It's like, well, clearly the issue's with my internet provider. Long story short, 5 or 6 conversations with them, get nowhere. So I was on the phone with them yesterday, and the guy put me on hold, and I was remoted from my shop into the computer here so that I could to test it, and the internet went out. I was like, did you do anything? He's like, no, I haven't done anything. I was like, well, my internet just went out. So I'll call you when I get home. So I come home, I get on this computer, and I notice my IP address is what's called a Class A IP address. That's the IP address that Comcast gives to your modem for your location. And then your modem gives you a Class C, which is 10.1 whatever. But my computer was getting the IP address that's supposed to get assigned to my modem. Mm-hmm. Magically, my websites came up. So, but I know from doing what I do that the only time that happens is if your modem is in bridge mode. And not to get too mired down into this nonsense, but if you have a business where you have servers on the network, computers, what have you, video cameras, things that you need to access from the outside world, you put your modem in bridge mode, and then your server hands out all the IP addresses, handles the firewall, and all that stuff. There's absolutely no reason for a residential modem to be in bridge mode, especially when you're not paying for static IP. So I log in and I disable bridge mode. Takes 5 minutes. Fixes the problem. My Wi-Fi comes back up, but now I can't get to our websites again. Mm-hmm. So I put in a phone call to Comcast, and they call me back today and try and explain to Tier 2. They reboot the modem again. It goes back into bridge mode, which it shouldn't. I can access our websites again. She flips it over and puts it back into non-bridge mode, and I can access the website. Sweet, problem solved. 20 minutes later, they go away again. So now it's like I'm about to make a YouTube video showing what's going on so that I can email it to them so they can physically see what the hell the problem is, because they think I'm losing my goddamn mind. But it's just so frustrating to get that shit sorted out. I told her, I said, I wish there was a phone number for you guys, for people who run IT firms like me, so that I can skip all this nonsense at the beginning and waste so much time going through the rudimentary stuff, because this is, she was a Tier 2 and she barely knew what the hell I was talking about. It's just so frustrating.
Well, it looks like I'm currently.
And so what I have to do to put a fine point on is when this podcast is over, I got to take my laptop, create a hotspot on my damn cell phone, connect my laptop to my hotspot, upload the MP3 file to our website, which takes forever. You think the upload speed on your internet's slow? Try it on your fucking cell phone. Jeez. It takes 45 minutes to upload the show, and then I have to update the website using the cell phone signal. So what I've been doing lately is I upload the show on Sunday, and then Monday when I get to the shop, I just do the website from there. That's why for those of you who download the show through iTunes, Google, Stitcher, and all that stuff, you'll have the show tonight or Sunday morning, depending on when you check, but the website's not updated till Monday because I can't access my damn own website from my own house. It just makes me want to pull my hair out.
Yeah. Technology.
Mm-hmm.
It's a love-hate relationship, right?
Yep.
I just was actually, while you were talking, I was checking my internet speed. I'm currently at 1.5 download.
Are you familiar with the Strauss-Howe generational theory?
I am not. Strauss-Howe?
Yeah, it's two historians. In 1997, two amateur historians, William Strauss and Neil Howe, wrote The Fourth Turning. The authors documented repeating historical patterns in Anglo-American history dating of the 15th century.
Mm-hmm.
The book's premise is that history repeats itself every 80 to 90 years. This is 2020.
Yes.
Things are going a little bit batshit crazy,
Just a little.
especially in the political world, especially with some Antifa Marxist folks running around.
That's the shit that... I don't even want to go down that
What
road
year
right
was
now.
it 80 years ago, Gordon?
World War II.
1939. Before, that's when World War II officially started. It was before we got involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's right around the time when all throughout the world, crazy
It's just-
Marxists and communists and socialists were doing stupid shit, killing a lot of fucking people, and trying
Yeah,
to
this
take
is
over a
right
lot
after
of
the
policies.
it was the Bolshevik Revolution happened, I believe, near
Mhm.
the end of World War One.
Yep.
There's actually an interesting channel on YouTube called Oversimplified, and they literally just put out a video, 2-part series, the Russian Revolution Oversimplified, and it's pretty interesting, and you can see a lot of parallels with what's
Mhm.
going on today. Look what happened in Yugoslavia in the 90s.
Yeah.
A lot of parallels with what's going on today, and a lot of it is just vilifying one side and saying, we're here to save you on the other. Of course, I'm like, well, if you're there to save us, then how come every city that your party runs a fucking shithole?
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Oh, but there was a lady in Baltimore running for mayor. Have you seen this?
No, I
ad?
haven't.
It's a lovely black lady in a red dress walking through the run down parts of Baltimore and basically lambasting the Democratic Party.
Oh, I'm sure they
And-
appreciated that.
Oh yeah, but basically saying all these cities like Chicago and L.A. and New York, they have the worst social problems, but yet they've been run by Democrats for decades.
That's the lady in red that the young ladies don't want to listen to. Apparently, there's a new lady in red. She's a musician or a group. I don't know. I've just seen things about it. Apparently, that's the new the Melissa Etheridge for the younger crowd. It's
Okay.
basically for the young girls who are getting to come to grips with their budding lesbianism. So if you hear your daughter listening to the girl in red, I think, or the lady in red, that's the name of the group. Yeah, that's what she's going on in her life. So yeah, when he said the lady in red, I'm like, huh? Oh, wrong one.
Yeah, so it's Kimberly Collect, and she has got a viral video out there. Anybody just go look it up. It's interesting. It's insightful, so yeah, and I do definitely want to get away from politics because that's all we're going to be living, unfortunately, probably for the rest of our lives.
If you're joining us via Periscope, YouTube, or Facebook Live, give us a call. The phone number is down on the bottom right hand of the screen, but that phone number is 239-232-4419. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. You know who's having a bad time right now?
Who's having a bad time?
The
besides-
color commentator for the Cincinnati Reds. Did you hear about that?
I did, and I saw a blurb on it, but I didn't quite pick up real quick what he said when his mic was hot.
Oh, I got it for you right here. Here we go.
The fag capitals of the world.
Now, they were at break. His mic was open.
Live, the pregame show presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing.
My question is, what city was he talking about? Here we go. We'll
Could
play it
be
again.
Queen City that they live in Cincinnati.
Maybe that was the joke.
Fag capitals of the world. The fag capitals of the world. Reds Live, the pregame show presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing.
3-0 ball game with the Reds in front of the Royals. We go to the top half of the fifth inning. Castellanos to lead things off. Jim Day's going to be taking us the rest of the way through this game as Holland takes over on the mound.
They pulled him off. Oh, here we go.
I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
And he's still
Ever the professional.
And so that'll make
commentating.
it a 4-0 ball game.
Meanwhile,
Now back to the
his
apology.
stomach is
Putting
just
on this headset
dropping.
again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize.
Well, all of the above. You're gone. He's been announcing for the Reds, I think, since the early 2000s. He's also, I think, a football announcer too. But yeah, open mics will get you every time.
Yes, they will. I was actually watching a Hodges twin video about this today. Those guys are funny.
Yeah.
And they were saying, you know, that we don't care, and obviously I'm not going to do their accent. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of college degree you've got. If you had a hot mics in your house, every one of us would be fired.
Ain't that the truth?
Across the world had a hot mic,
Well,
we would say something and get in trouble.
Well, we all kind of do have hot mics if you have an Alexa sitting around your house. Or,
Yes, you-
by the way, all that shit that you say around your Alexa is documented, and it can be accessed with the proper warrants and all that stuff. But yeah, if some disgruntled Google employee came out, because my theory is, remember back in the early 2000s when like all the starlets were getting their naked photos released?
yes.
Because one of the things Apple did when they first came out with the first, second generation iPhones is they thought they could do you the convenience of automatically backing up your photos with the default setting so that when you switched your iPhone, all of your photos, all your contacts, all that stuff would just download from the cloud onto your new device, save you time, and relieve you of the concerns about not wanting to change products because you don't want to go through all that hassle. And so my theory has always been that those photos were leaked by server admins who felt that they were underpaid and overworked. They had access to the servers all that shit's uploaded to, so why wouldn't you grab it and go sell it to TMZ or some shady website for a cool $50,000? So who's to say that somebody who has access to the same servers aren't going to find some transcripts from notable people from their Alexas and their Googles and all that crap at home listening in on them all day long, and maybe find a likely party who's interested in kicking over a few $100,000s for that transcript. So it'll come out
Yeah.
sooner than later.
And then if the government gets a hold of it, Big Brother will really be watching.
Oh, well, they're already
and
watching.
listening.
They're already
Do
watching.
you have a chance to check out 1984 on Amazon yet?
No, I'm familiar with the timeline. I did see that the people at Fortnite remade the Apple's remake in 1984. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not.
Apple took down the mobile Fortnite game from their app store. Not sure why. I don't know what the controversy was, but they decided it was time for Fortnite to go. So Fortnite remade a YouTube video and a commercial remaking the Apple's commercial talking about 1985, basically as a F you to Apple. And so they're not too happy with Apple because I guess they lost a lot of their subscriber base when that happened. But no, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my to-do list.
It's definitely a slow burn.
Well, all
But-
movies were back in.
Yeah, but I think it's poignant today. I had to read it in high school. I don't even know if they're required reading or hell, it's probably been burned
Yeah.
at school on the school level these days. But it's good to see. You know, it's interesting. I have actually started watching a new show about 3 weeks ago called The Last Mark.
Yes, I actually heard an interview with the documentarian or Is it a docu-series, ain't it?
It's a docuseries, and it's actually very insightful.
Yeah, I read
With the war on drugs and all the
CIA involvement.
cartels, and CIA angles and stuff. Yeah. So if you guys are looking for something decent to watch, that's not something horrible like my 90 Day Fiance. hop on. Hop
Are
on
you
Amazon.
watching that?
That's-
Why are you watching? Are you watching that by
I am
proxy?
not watching it, but unfortunately, my significant other is. And I talked to her about it. She goes, "It's so stupid. I've watched it so long. I feel like I'm invested."
That's why I call it watching by proxy. It's, you know, you want to spend the quality time. You have to sit on the couch. That's how 600-pound life came into my life. I'll be in a room making YouTube videos or doing other things, and it's on in the background and just watching
Now,
that.
one
insanity.
show that will make me leave flames behind me when I leave as fast as possible is Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah.
I can't. No. I don't know what it is with you ladies and watching shit come out of the skin
Mm-hmm.
and chasing you around. I'm sure you've been chased around by.
No, she's not into the
It was-
popping stuff.
Well, that's good because, yeah, I've actually been in trouble for popping my own. That's my job.
That's fucking gross.
Problem. You just want to cause me pain. I know what that really is all about, but yeah. So that's what we got. Hey, my cat's now wearing a homemade vest.
Oh, how's that going?
Actually, I think she's beginning to like it. And I'm not liking that because I am anti-clothing on animals.
Mm-hmm.
As that old comedian said, putting, dogs have clothes. You put a shirt on a dog, it's like putting swim trunks on a fish.
Yeah.
So she had developed some bumps that I had found last week, kind of like right here, if you look, right on her lower neck. And she's getting older, so first thing my mind goes to is, oh great, I hope that's not like some kind of weird cancer or what have you. And it's getting worse. Then she started digging at them. You know how cats are. So I was like, okay, I ain't going to put a cone on her head because that's not going to stop her back claws. And I'm not going to do that to her. So I just took an old waffle shirt and made a vest. So it's like a turtleneck on her now. And the doctor goes, you know what? This is actually a pretty good thing you did. So it ended up being allergies, which the question was asked, well, how is that possible? She never leaves the house. And sounds like you can drag anything in with you. It just happens, and it happens a lot. So, yeah, our cat has developed allergies in 2020 on top of the world burning down. But hey, there we go.
Remember Jam Master Jay?
Yes, I do.
Remember how he got killed back in, what was it, 2000?
Yeah, I believe he was allegedly connected to a...
Yeah, Dateline. Nearly 20 years after the slaying of Run DMC star Jam Master Jay, federal prosecutors say they have solved one of New York City's most enduring mysteries, charging two men from his own neighborhood with the murders and suggesting that the hip-hop artist, celebrated for his anti-drug stance, was in fact ambushed over a cocaine deal. The suspects were identified in court papers as Ronald Washington, now 56, who was currently serving a federal prison sentence stemming from a string of robberies while on the run from the police after Jay's 2002 death, and Carl Jordan Jr., 36, who was also charged with engaging in cocaine distribution conspiracy of 2017. Scroll past 4 paragraphs talking about Run DMC. According to the prosecutors, Jay would bring bulk amounts of cocaine to sell retail and was killed as retribution for cutting out Washington out of the plans to distribute 10 kilograms in Maryland. Why? You're fucking Jam Master Jay of Run DMC. I would assume you're still making mailbox money. He was killed in recording studios. I think he was still producing other people's music. Was he that bad with money he needed it, or did he just like the clout and the power that came along with it? Why would you... somebody of that stature, unless you're flat busted broke, why get involved with high quantity cocaine trafficking?
Maybe he did it for the thrill too.
I guess they said the guy who killed him was sleeping on his couch at the time.
Think about it though. He had a heavy anti-drug stance, correct?
Yep.
So what a better way than have people not look at you for drugs than have that front and then turn around and deal on the side. it sucks because it shows that he was completely disingenuous and not honest with people.
Well, to be a little fair to him, maybe 30 years ago, back in the 80s when he was Jam Master Jay, that he was anti-drugs. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, another member of the Run DMC is a ordained minister or pastor, and he not? And Run, I think Run's I think he's a man of the cloth. So maybe back then he did have, an anti-drug, because people change over 30 years. But to me, it's just to put yourself and your family in that sort of danger unless you're completely fat, busted, broke. Why even bother with it?
According to Chris Quentin, it's the same reason that rich celebrities get DUIs.
The third was shot once in the head with a .40 caliber bullet by a masked assailant in his studio in Hollis. Police identified at least 4 people in the studio with Jay when he was killed, including 2 armed gunmen. At Jay's funeral, McDaniels remembers his friend and fellow Run DMC star as as the embodiment of hip hop. That's just so sad, though. And we kind of talked about this in the past when we used to watch 48 Hours a lot. A lot of this stuff is bad life choices. Very seldomly do you have someone like this who was shot for no reason other than a lunatic shooting you. Sadly, a lot of this stuff is a direct result of poor life choices and hanging out with the wrong fucking crowd.
Yeah, and that is...
It's not clearly. Obviously, now we know they didn't kill him for his fame or because they wanted to steal money out of his studio or steal, something to sell. Well, they did, his cocaine. But, yeah, fucking life choices. It's just ridiculous.
It's funny because growing up, we don't want you hanging around with this type of people. And you're like, well, why, man? Why? And then you fast forward to 40 years old or whatever, and you look back at those people they didn't want us to hang out with, and where are they today?
Mm-hmm.
You mean parents actually knew something? Man, who would have thunk that?
Well, speaking of parents and parenting and young folk, it's come to my attention that this whole COVID-19 thing and the government's PPP program, the payroll protection program, where basically part of the agreement where that loan turns into a grant is that the company who receives the loan employs the same people after this is all said and done. Follow me?
I'm following you.
So as long as you don't fire those people, lay them off, close your business down, you don't have to repay that loan. It becomes a grant. Well, you know what this does? This means temporarily those people are unfireable.
Go shitbag McGee over there is going to have to stay on the payroll so you don't get stuck with paying that back as a loan.
No, it's worse than that. And not that you're wanting to fire shitbag McGee, but when you have a select group of people who work less than desirable jobs find out that I can take off work and not get fired. People are taking off work a lot. There's some people that I know personally who are in their 20s who have been taking off a lot of work. They go in complaining of a sore throat or the sniffles, or in this case, a toothache. And they've been basically... Now, I don't know if they're still getting paid for this time off, but they definitely aren't getting fucking fired. And they have been missing a lot of work lately because they know, with the exception of maybe falling behind on some bills, there's nothing that's going to happen to them.
It's kind of like those people who can afford to still pay their rent, but decided, hey, since they say I don't have to pay my rent right now, I'm not going to pay my rent. Dude, that piper's going to come home and you better pay it.
Yeah, it's not
It's
like...
going to be harder to pay later.
It's not like that shit's going to go away. You don't have to pay it now,
No,
but...
it's going to get worse. You will end up on the street with that kind of mentality.
You may not have to pay it now, but when this crap is over, quote unquote, you're going to have to pay your mortgage plus half of the, your mortgage is going to go up until your debt is paid.
Or if you're a tenant that's just renting or leasing, that's the people who are in the worst trouble because now they've trashed their whole background and their history, and they could have paid it. And yes, there are people out there. I get it, especially in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Reverend Run. Thanks, Chris Quentin. Back to the man of the cloth, Reverend Run.
That they can't pay it, but these people who can, who just don't, because AOC said don't pay your bills, don't pay your rent, nothing's going to happen to you. which in my opinion just leads to more, socialism in the future. And God, I'm going to hate to see our tax rates in the next couple of years. But yeah, I don't understand. I've just never quite understood that mindset. It's that fuck them before they fuck you outlook on life. And
Well, it's the same people who have, and you heard a lot in that movie. I was going to say Lord of Brooklyn, but that's a Bronx Tale.
Lords of Brooklyn.
A Bronx Tale where, working man's a chump.
Working man's a chump. Absolutely.
So we're all familiar with Chick-fil-A and their stellar advancements in how to take orders through the drive-through quickly. They have people out there with the tablets and this and that. And have you seen all that out there? I'm sure they do it out there, right?
Yes, they do. They do that. In-N-Out does that. So.
Wendy's is trying their poor man version.
Oh fuck.
I pulled up the Wendy's, and there's a Wendy's employee standing in front of the drive-up window, and I said, "What's the matter? Is your sign mic not working?" She's like, "No, we're trying something new."
Please tell me she had a can with a string.
Just as bad. Didn't have a tablet, wasn't swiping credit cards. She literally had a cell phone that had an open connection to the kitchen and was basically relaying your order over the phone. Not advancing technology at all. I don't know why. I guess maybe they thought that they could, the person at window 1 could take the money quicker if they weren't taking orders while trying to collect money, which you and I both did that job. It's not that fucking hard. So instead,
I've actually noticed that shit a lot. Like McDonald's, you'll pull up to the window to pay, and it's not even the person that took your order.
yeah, it's usually the manager up front. But yeah, and so she wasn't entering it into a tablet and taking payments. She was literally just standing there with the phone. What do you want? Yeah, I need 2 junior bacon cheeseburgers. You want fries with that? No fries. What size drink? And a medium out and Coke, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, that'll be $4.85. They'll help you at the next window.
Could you imagine the special instructions for sandwiches getting messed up in that third-party relay?
Well, I guess somebody there's typing it in the system. It's still going to come up on the menu board. I just don't know what the theory, other than the fact that maybe the person can't take. Well, that's not even fair either, because how hard is it to swipe fucking credit cards? They're not counting out change anymore like you and I used to have to do. We actually had to take the order, take money, count the money, put it in, give them the correct change back.
And you had to answer with, "Hi, welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you today?" Or had some kind of joy to your voice, and a smile. Now it's just like, yeah.
And at Wendy's,
okay.
when you weren't taking orders, you were back there toasting buns and cooking potatoes and chilies and washing dishes and all that crap. And nowadays,
fucking around with that henny penny fryer.
Nowadays, they can't even take an order and swipe a credit card all at the same time without slowing things down. So I just kind of laugh and was like, "Oh, Wendy's is trying their poor man's version of Chick-fil-A." I don't know. Maybe they'll get it sorted out.
Who
would have thought that all this advancement in technology would slow people down so much? I don't know. It's weird.
It's definitely weird. Definitely weird. Fuck, man. I just a guy, I saw a homeless guy today that just kind of, he definitely had some things going on with his legs that was probably more diabetes related, even though he's skinny, but
Diabetes.
He had the holes in his legs.
Ugh.
He had all the bandages off, and he's walking up and down, and people are just giving him money left and right.
At least
So,
he's walking.
He is walking. He was panhandling. Yeah.
Are you saying that the only reason he had his bandages off so people could see the holes in his legs, and then when he was done panhandling, he would pull his socks back up and go home?
Maybe. Well, I've seen him out there before, and he's had like medical grade wraps around his legs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if A, it's time to get some new stuff, or B, he was maybe wanting to see if he can up his game a little bit today. I'm sure this. I think he says he was a vet, which, the simple answer is, hey, why don't you go to the VA? And then the answer to that usually is they can't ever help me. It's all bureaucratic. Which I'm thinking, and we want nationalized health care.
Yeah.
The VA, you can't even get that shit straight first. Small steps. But yeah, man, I just the air, I don't know, it's just just kind of looking at the market out here. I'm hoping everything's going good for you guys. What's interesting, I saw something from unemployment office come out because they've been frauded a lot, and almost 3/4 of the claims, 175,000 are fraud.
Yeah, that's insane.
This is why it's having a hell of a time for people getting their money, because if somebody's claimed on you as you, and it wasn't you, and then you were and they're trying to chase the businesses down. Somebody tried to claim on me, and several people in our office, and I'm like, God, I hope you get laid off, because that's just going to make things horrible. But just hitting at it. I mean, definitely going to work every day, and we did have this guy decide to take a nap right in front of our main entrance Friday. Dude was clearly effed up, so he pulled up some sidewalk and decided to lay down right in front of the front door. So that was fun.
Yeah,
And yeah, so what you got?
When's the last time your car was broken into? I better know the answer to those.
I will let you answer that question.
When you lived in Columbus, Ohio?
Ding, 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 ding.
In your career living
When
in
was the
Columbus,
only time my cars have ever been broken into?
when you're living in Columbus and or Grove City, Ohio?
Ding, 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 ding.
How many cars did you have violated living in Grove City and or Columbus, Ohio?
3.
Yeah. I had
The Dodge Omni
Mhm.
in front of when we lived over by the railroad tracks there in downtown Grove City, which I always thought was kind of a cool little area. When I lived in the Bottoms, I had that Toyota, and then I had I think a white or a red Colt. I had a series of red cars. Now that I think about it, I have way too many red cars.
My S10 was broken into once. Had all my stuff stolen out of it. I had a book of CDs in high school that was broken into and stolen out of my friend Andy's car.
Now, did all these involve somebody popping the lock?
For the most part, popping the lock or breaking the window. My S10 window got shot out with a BB gun. My Somersault, I don't think got broken into, but my Escort had the back pop locked and had my Phoenix Gold, my Sherwin Vega 12s, my Phoenix Gold amp stolen. Then I moved to the Long Beach, California, never had a problem. Then I moved to Florida, never had a problem. And so my hypothesis was, well, clearly it's going to happen there because that's the town we grow up in. People know where we live. People who see you driving around. People who, who were into stealing shit back then say, hey, wow, did you hear that? Oh, I know that. I know that guy lives. Well, let's go steal shit. Well,
I was going to say, how many of these are people we actually may have run with?
No, probably a lot. But I was on Facebook the other day, and a girl living in Columbus, Ohio, had the windows cut out of the soft top on her Jeep, and her car was robbed.
Oh, great.
To which I replied, wow, nice to see nothing's changed. I haven't had my car broken into since I left Columbus. And so I got to thinking, what states have the highest rate of car break-ins? And so I have, let's see.
Do your quick web research on this?
A little between 2019 and 2018. Now, where it gets a little hard is there's really no, obviously most people, if you've ever had your car broken into more than once, after the first time the cops don't do anything. You're not going to get your shit back. So more often than not, you don't report it when it happens again. Unless something of high value, like a laptop or something, personal gets stolen. But if it's your car stereo, your CDs, phone, whatever. And so most of the car break-ins that get reported are usually when the whole goddamn car gets stolen. Now, I never knew anybody who had their entire car stolen until I did move to L.A., and one of my coworkers had his entire car stolen. But I did find motor vehicle theft statistics from year 2009. There was 795,552 cars stolen. In 2010, 739,000, so relatively close. 17,106. 716,508. 2012, 723,000. So all the way up until 2014, it was in the 700,000s. Then it basically stays there. In 2018, 748,841. The top 10 metropolitan statistic areas by motor vehicle theft rate in 2019. You want to guess the number 10 city, the highest car theft?
Columbus, Ohio.
Nope. Springfield, Missouri,
Really?
2,420. Number 9, any guesses?
Minneapolis.
Yakima, Washington, of all places. I don't know what the fuck's going on in Yakima, Washington, but 1,325. Number 8, a little closer to you. Any guesses?
L.A.
Merced, California, 1,843. This is weird. Number 7 actually has less than number 8 and number 6, but for some reason, Yuba City, California, 959, maybe based on price. Topeka, Kansas comes in at number 6, 1,293.
See all them tweakers.
And then once again, number 5 is a little weird because it has 946, which is Odessa, Texas. And then Montecito, California, 3,156. St. Joseph, Missouri / Kansas. It must be on the border, 770. And then Albuquerque, New Mexico, 6,399. Well, if you watch Breaking Bad, that's not surprising. And then coming in at number 1, the home of corn, Bakersfield, California, with 6,538. Top 10 states.
Like, Cali is leading the pack.
Well, we kind of expected that. But interestingly enough, Ohio was not, or Columbus was not on that list. Top 10 states. Number 10, Illinois. Vehicle stolen in the year 2018. 19,593.
Do they list the top vehicles?
I think if I scroll down a little bit.
I bet you a Civic.
Oh, here's something cool. We'll go through the top most vehicles stolen, then actually the top 10 fewest vehicles stolen. Number 9, Missouri, 19,815. Here we go. Number 8, Ohio, 19,909. Number 7, speaking of meth, Tennessee, 20,439. Number 6, Colorado. I don't know how these rankings can be all over the place when some of them have more than the other ones. Like number 10 had 19,593, but number 8 had 19,909. So I don't know why the numbers don't count on this website, but it's weird. Tennessee, we said 20,000. Colorado, 21,673. Georgia, 24,000. Washington's number 4. Number 3, Florida, with 41,165. So interestingly enough, my shit's never been messed with in Florida, but we rank higher than Ohio. Maybe because I don't live in Orlando, Tampa, or Miami.
There you go.
And number 2, Texas, 69,817. And the big winner, chicken dinner, at 155,211, California.
Shoot.
Number 10, fewest, West Virginia. Now, they have a lot of middle of nowhere in West Virginia. They had 2,519. Idaho had 1,964. North Dakota, 1,775. Rhode Island, which makes sense, they're the smallest state in the Union, is 1,531. South Dakota, 1,524. Delaware, 1,476. New Hampshire, 869. Wyoming, 839. Maine, 777. And the safest place to park your car throughout the country is Vermont, with a staggering 253. Here to answer your question, the most 10 frequently stolen vehicles in 2018. You have a guess? Anywhere on the chart?
Honda's going to be up there at the top.
The Honda Civic coming in number 1, 38,426.
Jesus Christ.
Guess what car no one wanted to steal in 2018?
Fiesta?
No. And probably because they're afraid of the owners and the NR stickers on the back. The GMC full-size pickup truck at 1,170.
But what's interesting is I believe the Ford F-150 is a hot item on the stolen car market.
The Ford pickup full-size. Doesn't say F-250, F-350. I know the F-150 is not full-size, but the Ford pickup
No, it's
full-size is on the list of least amount with 1,017.
Huh.
Ford pickup. Now, see, here we go. Here we go. They really need to differentiate the model because we have 2018 model vehicles. No, I'm sorry. I misread this. So all models. So Honda Civic was 38,426. Doesn't matter what year. It's a Honda Civic. That shit's getting ripped off.
Yeah.
And if it's a 2018 model, it's the GMC full-size pickup was stolen the most, followed by Ford. And all models across the board, don't care what year. The Honda Accord was number 2 with 36,815. Ford pickup full-size came in 3rd place for all years. Doesn't matter. It was 36,355. Followed by the Chevy full-size.
Toyotas. You see any Toyotas, Volkswagens?
Volkswagen, no one runs a Kraut burner, but the Toyota Camry 16,906. That doesn't matter the year. Nissan Altima 13,284. Doesn't matter the year. The Toyota Corolla doesn't matter the year. 12,388. GMC pickup is number 8, 11,708. The Dodge pickup 11,226. And last but not least, coming in at number 10, doesn't matter what year, the Jeep Grand Cherokee at 9,818. But in the 2018 year models, the Chevy Malibu was last, followed by the Toyota Corolla, the Dodge Charger, the Ford Transit. It's weird that more Transits would get, well, those are probably work vans. They're probably stealing those for what's inside of them. Hyundai Elantra. More people stole 2018 model Hyundais than they did Dodge Chargers. Maybe they're just easier to steal.
Although there was a guy that stole that Hellcat who outran the police helicopters in Texas. Did you see the story on that?
No, not at all.
Yeah, he hit about 200 miles an hour.
What holidays? Top 11 holidays. What holiday do you think more cars get stolen on in 2018 than any other day?
I think, for some reason, I want to think Labor Day or Memorial Day.
Labor Day is number 4. Memorial Day is number 5.
And probably Christmas.
Christmas is number 9. People are in the... Christmas Eve is number 9. Christmas Day is number 11. 1,447.
Yeah, I better not say that. If I'm about to say the next thing, I get myself in trouble. So I'm not going to say that one.
New Year's Day, 2,571. Number 2, interestingly enough, is President's Day. In 2018, more cars, second to only New Year's Eve, more cars were stolen on President's Day at 2,380 than any other day. Followed by Halloween, Labor Day, Memorial Day, New Year's Eve. Oh, I'm sorry, New Year's Day was number 1. New Year's Eve was number 6. Number 7, Independence Day. That's ironic. Number 8, Valentine's Day, when you got to get your special lady a new car. And then we said Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas Day. So there's the rundown. We'll get into the Netflix cuties debacle next week. I don't want to talk about 11-year-olds twerking this week. Anyhow,
Well,
Gordon, are you ready for the news?
let's do some news.
News and shit. News and shit. Now here's Gordon with some news and shit.
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Abernathy.
Gordon, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, but I think Bud Light fans may have a reason to rejoice about their watery beer.
Oh, yeah?
A California man uses cans of Bud Light to extinguish flames from wildfire.
That's alcohol abuse.
Well, there's not much alcohol in Bud Light, and it's fucking water.
How much beer
slay
did he
me, I like
have?
my bougie beer. So, Vacaville, California, a California man was trying to protect his home from the NLU Lightning Complex fire, and he used the only thing left that he had to put the flames out, and it was beer.
Beer, man.
Apparently, the water was down and everything else, but the homeowner's name is Chad Little, and he was saying that this is crazy. Where he was living, everybody was on propane tanks, so it was like a war zone. And I've witnessed we unfortunately we know somebody who was.
I was going to say, anybody lived in
He
Grove
set
City in
fire.
1996, we all saw the feral gas goddamn plant explode, and that was fucking insane.
Yes, it was. So, as his family was packing up, Mr. Little had made up his mind. Nope, I ain't going to leave. He was staying to protect his home. Little's family already lost their home 5 years ago in an attic fire. So fire number 2, which is wildfire, is coming. And he's actually in the process of rebuilding, which was supposed to finish this year. He says, this happens. And I'm like, no, I can't let it go. I'm not going to go through this again. He had hoses around the property, but wasn't prepared for the water to get shut off. which is what happened. And then he grabbed.
Or
the
they
rake and
shut off
started-
the water so that they can divert the water pressure to the fire trucks?
I'm pretty sure that was what was going on. They don't really elaborate. But he starts clearing out the dry grass with rakes and stuff. He said he was putting fires out all the way around, here and there, stopping it from going towards the house. Meanwhile, all the cars that he had was on fire, and he has like a lot of vehicles.
Would you say a plethora?
Yeah, a plethora would work. So all the cars were torched. His shop was going up because he was a mechanic and everything else. It was burning on the wood down low. He didn't have any water. He had one barrel with very little in it, and he tried to use that. It didn't work, so he had grabbed that only liquid he had left, cans of Bud Light. When I ripped open the sheet metal, it had a nail, so I was just shaking it, popping it, using the nail, and spraying everything. And according to Little, my buddies tease me all the time about drinking water beer. He said it saved my shop.
That's
So,
insane.
Bud Light.
I could see if you had like a party ball or a keg, but to do it can at a time.
Whew, a can at a time. That's
You know he'll get some free Bud Light out of the deal.
oh my god, he's gonna be set for.
He'll get like a lifetime supply from Anheuser.
So Fort Myers, Florida. Merrill's police department is urging community to lock doors. Evidently, there's because of increase in break-ins in your area. So Fort Myers, Florida.
Cape Coral.
Yeah, there you go. So Fort Myers Police Department says that there has been an increase in burglaries in the area. They said that over the past 21 days, they have seen more than 50 break-ins in the city. Majority of the burglaries are very preventable. It's simply just lock your door. Lock your car door.
Yeah. Did they say what
And,
side of town?
They said that, not really. They said that there's been 5 commercial break-ins, 5 residential, and 45 auto burglaries, and all 45 were due to unlocked doors. FMPD says that there have been Officer Williams works with the hardest hit areas, so it's actually in Gulfview. He gives out these tips to prevent break-ins from happening to you. Now, I don't know much about Gulfview
I'm looking
or
right
Fort
now.
Myers, and D-Train's looking into that, but they're just basically suggesting, and I don't know why they have to suggest this stuff, because to me it's common sense. Remove all valuables from your vehicle, whether it's your purse or loose change in the glove compartment, and especially make sure you're removing your guns from your vehicles.
Yeah.
That
right.
one I don't get. Why people leave their guns in their car.
I know somebody a few years ago whose gun was stolen out of his glove box.
That's no good. So they checked a lot of the local businesses hit hard in the area between Jeffcott Boulevard and Edison Avenue.
Okay, that makes sense.
One of the business owners tells me that he has not seen anything suspicious. Well, that's very impressive because, like I said, and this is according to Jay Figueroa, a business owner, because as I said, I've been in this area for like 10 years and never have had any problems with my business.
That's right around the area of town I was saying last week where you find the road grade sign. It's reminding people to fill out their census forms and to wash their hands and wear their mask.
Gotcha.
Now,
Gotcha. So speaking of crime, we're going to go to a famous, and this is a little bit older news. It came out earlier in the week. You may have heard about it. You may not have. But former Chicago and Las Vegas mobster, guy who also was a consultant on the movie Casino, former mobster Frank Collada has passed away.
are we
former,
supposed to be sad for that? I'm sure you guys.
Not really. He ended up more of a tour guide at the end of everything. I'm sorry, I'm coughing like crazy.
Don't you got a beer in your room?
No, I got tea.
No, that's your problem.
Yeah, it is. So former Chicago and mobster Frank Collada had died at the age of 81. His death was announced on his official YouTube channel, Coffee with Collada, and he did die early Thursday. Mob Museum's Jeff Schumer talks about Collada, and according to the video, Collada had been in the hospital for a few weeks before his death, and he was battling the corona. Vegas businessman Adam Flowers told us CNN that he believes he gave Collada this COVID-19 as a pre-symptomatic carrier because evidently did an interview with him. Claude did have a long career as a mob. In 1962, he killed two men named William McCartney and James Margilla. He later confessed. In 1968, he was convicted of burglary and sentenced to prison for 8 years.
Well, good
Claude
riddance.
moved. What's that?
It's a good riddance.
Good riddance. Claude did, just a little history, more history on him. Claude did move to Las Vegas from Chicago in 79 to join fellow mafia member and boyhood pal Tony Spilatro, who was played by, I believe, Joe Pesci in Casino. And he became part of the Hole in the Wall gang in Las Vegas, which was known for its prevention of drilling or gaining entry into homes and buildings by drilling through the exterior walls and ceilings of said buildings that they burglarized. So, he did actually turn on the mob and became an informant. So there you do have that.
This episode of the What's in Your Head podcast, while Gordon gathers his breath, is brought to you by our friends at Act Computers. Act Computers has been providing IT solutions for all Southwest Florida since 2004, whether it's domain name registration, domain expansions, Wi-Fi expansions, running Cat5 wire, mounting TVs on your wall, anything technical they can help you with. Give them a call at 239-283-1120. They can help you with the screen repair, hinge repair, motherboard replacements on your laptops, computer builds, computer decommissions, computer swaps, anything technical based. And right now, no more important time than right now to get that online backup. Get your data backed up from your computer, especially if you don't have an SSD hard drive. Get it backed up online right now, 7 cents a gig per month. Give them a call at 239-283-1120. If you're a business owner and you have customers, or not customers, but employees logging in from home, you really need to get set up with two-form authentication. Make sure they're doing it securely. Give Act Computers a call at 239-283-1120, and they can also hook you up with some great antivirus. Give them a call at 239-283-1120 or go to act-capecoral.com. And while you're there, head over to d-410.com and sign up for the Patreon. You can get yourself a shirt, kind of like the one I'm wearing now. You can find our YouTube channel, all of our social media, and all that good stuff. So if you really want to help out the show, support what we do here, go sign up for Patreon. It's $1 a month. Thank you guys so much. And back to Gordon's news.
Let's talk about old fuck moments.
Oh, fuck.
Live air-to-air missile found at Central Florida Airport.
Sweet. Which one?
You hear this story yet?
Not yet.
Lakeland, Florida.
Yep, been there.
A live air-to-air missile discovered at a small Central Florida airport has been secured in a munition storage facility at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. What they found or was discovered was they're calling it an unarmed, but yet they're saying it's live. So this French S-530 air-to-air missile was found in Lakeland Linder International Airport on Friday. It is secure and safe, and we're just waiting on when and where they're going to dispose of said missile. Those details are yet to be solidified, according to Lieutenant Brandon Hanner, Chief of Media Operations at MacDill. Hanner said typically these kinds of weapons are taken to an explosive range to be detonated, but this one is too large to do that at MacDill. So the disposal logistics are being planned out. It's the only thing out of the ordinary about this is it is not a U.S.-made missile, which is why we were dispatched out to
Damn Russians.
The missile was found near Draken International, a defense contractor located at an airport. At the airport, the discovery led to a partial evacuation of the airport, according to newspaper reports. MacDill's explosion ordnance team secured the device. Then the logistics readiness squadron assisted them in bringing it to Tampa on a flatbed trailer. Wonder if that had a cover on it.
Probably. Nice
I'm
tarp.
sure it did. And you know how we hear that, we should be safe with mail-in ballots and, there's nothing wrong with the mail. Well, coming out of my neck of the sagebrush, Nevada mail carrier sentenced to prison for stealing and opening 70 pieces of mail.
You don't say. I get
They're
mail
all
stolen from me all
above
the time.
beyond reproach, right? So, one David Stephen Bangs the second,
Nothing like his
30.
daddy.
yeah, 34 of Henderson. Actually, I feel bad for Kentucky because every rundown methed out area is Kentucky's thrown at the end of it. Anyway, he was sentenced Thursday to 6 months in a federal prison to be followed by 1 year of supervised relief for stealing mail while employed as a contract mail carrier by the United States Postal Service. The sentence was announced by U.S. Attorney Nicholas A. Truchnich for the District of Nevada and Special Agent Special Agent in Charge John D. Masters, Western Area Field Office, and USPS Office of the Inspector General. Our office is proud partner with USPS to stop mail theft in our Nevada communities, including by holding accountable those who betray the public's trust. So between April 1, 2018 and August 7th, 2019, banks performed contract delivery services for the USPS, according to the court documents. On June 19th, customers in one neighborhood complained about missing or open mail. To the Postal Service Office of the Inspector General, Banks was identified as the letter carrier for that area. So they basically went on super secret. We want to check this guy out.
Secret squirrel mode.
Secret squirrel mode. And they basically started floating through some test letters, some test mail.
See if we got to where it's supposed to be going.
He swooped up several of those and got his hand slapped pretty good. And the last story of the day is going back to Florida. Has to do with that tropical storm, which may be a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it could cause increase in your favorite thing in the world down there, blue-green algae.
Yeah, boy. Well, at least it ain't red algae, I guess.
Biologists are going to be studying the impact of Tropical Storm Laura and what it has on blue-green algae. Some canals in Cape Coral are already seeing outbreaks. There is a concern that the storm could make the problem worse. Just a few days ago, the Mackay Canal in Cape Coral turned a sickly green color. Researchers are still determining what caused it, but the result is clear. Blue-green algae is everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of times the canals look like they actually have antifreeze floating on the top of it. It's pretty fucking gross.
It's kind of stinky too, right?
Yep, sometimes.
Sometimes. So yes, they're going to be studying that. They obviously, a lot of this is coming back to the water releases from the dam at Lake Okeechobee that can send the algae downstream towards you guys. And if the lake gets added rain from the storm, the releases could be necessary, thus flushing the toilet bowl, so to speak, right into your backyard. But I think I was able to avoid all the other hot topic items this week. That is all I have for the news.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us for another episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. As we said earlier, if you're downloading the show directly from our website, that's fantastic. But you can also find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and all those good places. And please share us with your friend. The ratings are going up. We're happy about that. But share us with your friends so we can get the numbers up some more and get some more listeners out there and get some more... I had somebody reach out to us about some potential marketing and all that stuff. And so we are getting out there. People are becoming aware of us. So thank you guys so much for that. Gordon, where can people find you?
I can be found at Aegis1974 on Instagram, Gordon at D410 on Facebook, and Abernathy.Gordon on Twitter.
And as always, you can find everything else over at D-410.com. That's where you can find all our social media stuff, YouTube channels, and all that. And remember, if you never get out of your comfort zone, you'll never get out of bed. So go out and challenge yourself and enjoy your life because it's not around very long. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you next week.
This has been a Digital 410 production.